Well, good morning. Happy Mentor Monday. I want to welcome all of you here with Construction Management Online. My name is Cory Fisk, and I'm here just to answer a few Monday mentorship questions that have come in from some of our construction managers. So we try to do this every Monday and provide a little bit of guidance for those of you who are working your way through your construction management career into promotions, or maybe if you just have a question on a job that you're having a problem with right now. Before we get started, I just really want to send out sincere prayers and hope for safety and love out for all of those that are dealing with devastation throughout the East Coast in this latest tragedy that we have with all of these storms. And I hope that none of you are affected, but if you are, that you're able to find the support and strength in your community and in God, and just really hope that everything goes as well as can be expected during this time. So as we get started, I just want to jump right into our Mentor Monday questions for the week. The first question is, when it comes to timelines and budgets, should we prioritize completion time or manage costs like paying for more manpower to meet the deadlines? So this is a great question. I'm going to go ahead and keep it up so that I can remind myself exactly what we're talking about and stay on track. But when it comes to determining should we care about time or cost, these really go hand in hand. So anytime that there is going to be additional time or delays in your project, it's going to have an impact on cost. If you don't have the money to be able to finish, then that's going to cause an even bigger impact. So yes, money is very important in this scenario and trying to determine what is happening. Also, while this is happening, obviously you're trying to deal with the situation at hand, but you also have to look at the future impact of what this is going to have to your project and what kind of legalities that might come out of it. And so really trying to determine what is the best step also needs to take into consideration what the contract reads and what your contractual obligation is in this particular time frame. So when we talk about like paying for manpower to meet deadlines, if this is your responsibility and the deadline is your responsibility and there are no identified delays that cause this issue, then absolutely paying for additional manpower is going to be your responsibility. And you don't want to have further impact in liquidated damages or penalty fees associated with this project by not completing it on time. But if this impact has happened because of an unforeseen condition or because of a change order or some other contractual confusion, then you're going to want to make sure that concurrently, while you're trying to keep the project moving, that you're identifying and shaping and structuring what that cause was so that it can come back and cure whatever time or money is spent trying to recover from this particular situation. So there is no perfect answer, right? Because construction is very complex and there's a lot of different things that come into it. But if you don't have any money, you can't do anything. So if you had to pick one, it most likely would be time associated with it. Also keeping in consideration that manpower isn't just this thing we pull out of the air and put it into place and it starts working the way that we want it to work. Usually this means that we're dealing with humans and people who are going to get tired working so many hours or can only put in so much time or only have limited skill sets. And so also taking all of that into consideration when moving forward with your project is going to be really important. So I probably didn't answer that as beautifully as you would like it to be answered. It's not a straight answer. When you are looking at timelines and you're looking at budgets, everything needs to be looked at the same time. Consideration needs to be made on what your entity, whether you're the owner, the contractor, or subcontractor, what you're willing to be able to release in that particular moment. So is it manpower? Is it time? Is it cost? And how are you going to be able to recover that in the future? So that moves us to our next question. How do you balance aggressive scheduling while keeping workers safe? So this is a great question, right? Because the first and foremost primary factor we should be considering is the safety of our employees, and helping companies and helping other employees recognize how important safety is to our project, not just in the life that we're going to save from someone by being proactive and being able to keep everyone safe, but understanding that when we lose an employee being able to perform that particular task that they're assigned to do, we are also losing money, we're losing profitability, we're losing time, we're having to retrain someone, we're having to reinsert a new piece to the puzzle. And so all of those have a bigger impact on the project. The problem with it is it's not tangible until it happens. And we just never want it to happen, right? We never want to see someone's safety sacrificed in order for us to be able to move the project forward. So when we're looking at an aggressive timeline, the best way to be able to attack it is to be able to do strategic and intentional pre-planning of every phase of that particular schedule, of that particular project. And so that way you're not sacrificing safety. You're able to plan the means and methods of each of these aggressive moves that you're making in the acceleration of this project, which allows you to be able to think out contingency plans, any kind of proactive work that needs to be done to make sure that everyone is staying really safe. I'll tell you, I just drove through a project today. Had to take my dog to the vet. And in doing so, it was really obvious how unorganized everything was. And I think that it was a small project, and they probably thought, there's not a lot of traffic that comes through here. It's not going to be a big deal. We'll just throw up a couple signs and, we'll go ahead and just move traffic through. But very quickly, congestion can happen that then really can cause chaos. And so just being able to sit down and make a plan and intentionally and strategically go through what you are going to do, what the expectations are everyone on that team, is going to be able to help any project accelerate. And what is it? Smooth is fast. And that is so true, right? So the smoother it is, the more fluid we can keep our projects running, the faster they're going to be. So when you're attempting an aggressive schedule, we're probably also looking at different shifts that we're going to be using. So whether they're graveyard or if they are, graveyard, I always get this one. Graveyard and swing shift. So if we're using those two, then we also want to have an understanding of the safety that's going to require lighting. It's going to require areas for lay down areas, making sure we know where everyone's going to park. All of those things are going to contribute to the safety of the individuals that we're working with. Always making sure everyone has the right tools for the job that they're working on and being able to pre-plan that, and that there's easy access to all of that. So when we're looking at aggressively scheduling a project and still keeping our workers safe, then we're going to strategically and intentionally plan out our means and methods of how we're going to do each of the individual tasks, and any potential contingency plans that we want to put in place in order to be able to proactively keep our project running smooth so it can be fast. All right. So our last question for today is, what are some common mistakes to watch for during estimates? And is there a database that helps with labor, material, and equipment pricing? This is a good question also. So, when we're looking at pricing for our labor, material, and equipment, these are going to be our three major components that we're looking at when we're building the structure of an estimate. So, remember, estimates are going to be very difficult to do without construction experience because there's a lot of outside influences that can impact the cost of a project. So right now, we're just going to stick to the basics, to the structure, which is time, material, and equipment. So labor, material, and equipment. So when we're pricing these, depending on what state you're in, is going to be where you're going to look for your baseline cost for some of these things. Now, there will be a difference, especially in labor, when we talk about union versus non-union. And then we have Davis-Bacon, which is federal wages, and then public works, which is your state wages, prevailing wage. And so when we're looking at those different rates, they can be a lot of difference in them, in the cost of it. And so a non-union person could be making as much as, $15, $20 less than a union person, recognizing that the union is paying for more in that package. So there's fringe benefits and everything associated with that. So when we're looking at how to determine a baseline for that, so there's an easy place in order to be able to find pricing for labor, material, and equipment. This really is most likely going to be done in what we call a cost index schedule designed by your company. So it's likely that your company is going to be in a specific discipline, that they're going to self-perform work in a specific area that you're going to be performing over and over and over in all the jobs that you do. So for instance, an electrical contractor is always going to be providing electrical material, electrical labor, electrical equipment. Okay, same be true for concrete. They're always going to be providing formwork. They're going to have an understanding of rebar and finishing products necessary for concrete. A general contractor will be a little bit different. They're going to want to be able to identify the ballpark number for each of those disciplines that they do not self-perform, but then they will have a cost index for things that they self-perform, which is usually concrete or framing. So when we're looking at this cost index, it's going to pull from historical data. Historical data is going to be information that we receive off of previous jobs that we've done. And now we're able to compare the original estimate that we gave that job compared to the actual cost of that job. And then we can balance the information in order to be able to update the cost unit or the unit cost for the tasks that we're going to perform on future jobs. So this is how we keep our own personal cost index up to date. Then another tool that we can look at is something called the, I knew I was going to do this just right at the tip of my tongue. It is the RS Means book. Okay, so the RS Means book is going to provide us with unit costing, and it is a difficult book to read. It's something that you have to become familiar with and have to be able to recognize how it's used. It is going to provide you with a base cost, but it's also going to include considerations like inflation, escalation, markup, and percentage of profit on different projects. It is also going to take into consideration something we call productivity rate, which is the rate of what work can be done within an hour time frame by a particular trade. And so these are going to be good things to use as reflective information to bounce off and compare the pricing that you're trying to put out for other estimates. And so being able to use something like the RS Means book can compile information and allow you to be able to design an estimate at a much faster pace. You just want to be able to drill down into it even deeper to make sure that you're doing the detail necessary for you to win the bid, for you to be able to get really close to the number that you want to be and still be able to achieve a profit for your company. So I hope that those answer some of the questions that you have. Again, when we're talking about estimating, there's a number of different softwares out there as well that are going to be able to help support keeping an updated cost index that's going to help you. There's always easy things. Home Depot has an easy little research bar that you can say, how much is a 2x4? So you can get pricing that way. But the more that you're dealing with a particular item based off of the specifics of your company, the bigger, more robust your cost index should be. And the more information you have in that, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to estimate the jobs that you're working on. So I just want to remind everybody that tonight we're going to be doing something for the ladies. We have leading ladies. We're going to do a webinar just to inform you of a little bit more information in regards to whether or not this is really the group for you. We have a community that is here to be able to support women in male-dominated industries. Doesn't necessarily have to be construction, although most of my contacts are in this industry. It really has to do with how we're going to balance life and our career in moving forward in supporting women. So that's going to be taking place this evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then we're also getting ready for our Construction Management Accelerator. This is a 5-day workshop for an hour free where we're going to be going over all that you need to know in the first year of construction management. So our Construction Management Essentials is a 12-week certification program that helps you understand the basics of construction management and being able to go through things like how to create a change order, understanding specifications and drawings, learning how to negotiate, and learning team essentials and how to be able to work with the roles and responsibilities of everyone in the inner core team. You can go to my profile and click on 5-day workshop in order to get registered for this. Then always on Mondays, we're here at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in order to go through Monday mentorship. I would love to be able to have any questions from any of you that you would like to submit. Go ahead and put those in a direct message to me. And to keep up on all of the latest that we're doing at Construction Management Online, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. So I hope everyone has an absolutely amazing Monday and start off with a great week.